I have my next speaker is Stacey Ashley. Stacey, can I have you on the screen? Yes. Hello, Stacey. So let me talk to you about a little bit about Stacey. She's a high performance leadership expert with over 30 years experience. She has helped thousands to develop their leadership competence, confidence, and credibility. She's the author of 2 books on leadership and has won 4 international Stevie Awards, including Coach of the Year in 2019 and in 2018. She was named in LinkedIn Top Voices. Wow. So let me welcome Stacey Ashley talking about when to coach in the workplace. Over to you, Stacey.
Thank you so much, Paris. And such a joy to be amongst this illustrious company this evening and talking about coaching, which is just one of my favorite things to do. So why talk about coaching in the workplace? And there are 2 reasons for that. The first one is that coaching is, for me, such an opportunity. We know that it's an amazing way to bring out the best in people, to help them to develop options and choice for themselves and find a way to make progress. And the workplace, although that has changed significantly in 2020, the workplace, we spend so much time, so much a part of our life in our work. And so if we can bring out our best at work, I think that just represents an incredible opportunity. And of course, my hope is that that then flows over to the other parts of people's lives. If I reflect back on my own career, what I noticed, and it was a relatively long corporate career before I began my practice, so nearly 20 years, in that time, I think I probably had a single leader who I worked with for about 8 months who had a coaching approach. And the rest of my leaders, as great as they were, did not have that. And so that 8 months was an incredible highlight for me. And I think I made more progress in my own leadership journey in that time than in lots of other parts of my career. So again, that for me just really highlighted the impact that a leader who coaches can have on the people around them and the difference that they can make. But before I get into talking about the specifics of when to coach in the workplace, I just want to put some context around the way that I see leadership and the facets of leadership. So I'm just going to pop my iPad up, if I can find that. There we go, and share that. And I'm hoping that everyone can now see my iPad. So when I think about leadership, there are 3, I believe, core foundations or dimensions of leadership that we need to be considering for ourselves and for the people around us. And so the first thing, of course, is you must lead yourself. Yeah. People don't want to be led by someone who isn't embodying leadership. So that's the first thing. The second component or dimension, of course, is that you need to lead your tribe, the people around you, and that can be your team, it can be peers, colleagues, your boss. It might even roll out of work and be your community or your industry. The third component, of course, is your world, the ecosystem in which you operate, and all of those facets of your leadership form, I guess, the platform from which you can elevate yourself and the people around you. And they create the opportunity to inspire as a leader, to influence, and to have impact, which I think anyone who truly aspires to leadership wants to make a difference in the world. And with those things in play, what we create is an opportunity to be leading possibility, to be leading potential, to be creating opportunity. Now, why do I share that? Because I think that we need to be talking a common language. So I want to give you a context. Now, I want to drill down further. When we talk about coaching, where does it fit? Now, of course, we can coach ourselves, we can coach the people around us, our tribe, and we can coach our world. But in particular, what I want to do is to actually focus on the tribe. So when you lead your tribe, there are 3 key things that I believe every leader needs to do. And I should probably preface this by saying I have a fundamental belief that all leaders have a responsibility to create more leaders. And so they have a responsibility to their tribe, that every day they mentor, they model leadership, and they coach. And if they do that every day, mentor, sharing their wisdom, their experience, offering guidance, sharing their stories, if they model leadership, they show up as a leader, they take action, they make decisions as a leader, and they be a leader. So they show what it looks like. So we've got knowing leadership, showing leadership, and then when people are coaching the people around them, using a coaching approach, helping to draw out those ideas and experience and strengths and initiative and create accountability, that's where we get that growth that we want in our future leaders. So we want to grow leadership as well. Now, that's at the intersection of mentor and coach. Now, my feeling is, based on all the leaders I've worked with over time, that most people are pretty comfortable with how to mentor. They like to tell their story. They like to share their experiences. The challenge, however, is in the coaching space. It doesn't come as naturally to everybody as mentoring does. And so I believe there's a great opportunity because of that. Because if we can actually elevate and amplify the coaching that's happening in our organizations, then we're creating so many more options and opportunities and possibilities than we have at the moment. And so that's what I want to focus on today, coaching your tribe. So the first thing I want to just check in with is, in terms of the audience, I would just love to know who feels like they're using a coaching approach today with the people around them. So I would just love to know if you could just pop that up in the chat, whether, yes, you're coaching right now, or you feel like you're coaching right now, because I just love to see that happening. Okay. So that gives us context. And now what I want to do is to be really, really clear. Yes, coaching. So Nidhi, Priya, Gary, Will, lovely to see that. And I'm really super pleased, because for me, the more people who are coaching, the more people who are using a coaching approach, the bigger impact, the bigger potential we are creating, not only for ourselves, but for our teams, for our businesses, for our industries, for our communities, for our world. And I think that's an amazing thing. So I want to just be really clear when I'm talking about coaching, this is what I mean. And I'm using an adaptation of a model developed by Fairley in 2003. And it's pretty classic. We've got two dimensions. The first dimension is about who has the domain expertise. Where does it actually reside? And so the domain expertise may reside with, well, I'll call them the team member, but what I'm saying is it's not you. The domain expertise resides with somebody else. Or the domain expertise resides with you as the leader. And what I find when I'm working with leaders is that for a lot of leaders, not all leaders, but for a lot of leaders, they've actually become leaders because of their technical expertise. And that has actually supported them in their leadership roles. And at times it's actually quite hard to let go of that expertise, because, it's a safety zone, but also there may not be enough other tools in the leadership toolkit to allow them to let go of that expertise. And so what happens is that over time they actually become a bottleneck, because everything needs to go through them, because they are the expert of the experts, rather than being the leader of the experts. So we've got this dimension of expertise, and then we've got, how do I interact with other people? So I can be telling them, offering suggestions, making recommendations, that sort of thing. And I can, at the other end of the spectrum, actually, let me just pop, is I can be asking great questions and inviting people into the conversation. And so what I find when I'm working with organizations is that there is a lack of understanding between mentoring and coaching. And that's why I'm just really quickly going through this. I know For most of the audience, you're going to know what the difference is, but I just really want to be clear, because I find that people say we have a coaching and mentoring program in our organisation, and it's like one word, and coaching and mentoring are actually quite different. Both great ways of working with people and developing people, but they are different. So mentoring, I give you my wisdom, I share my wisdom with you, so I tell you, and the expertise clearly lies with me or with you as the leader. So mentoring sits around here. Coaching, when I'm using a coaching approach with the people around me, it's not about my expertise, it's about their expertise. And so my job's to draw it out, it's to question, it's to ask, it's to invite them in, it's to help them explore, it's to help them create and generate options. I've just thrown my pen away, and that sort of thing. So the expertise is theirs, and I'm using an asking approach. And so what we've got is coaching up here. And so when I'm working with organizations, this is where the big opportunity is. We're already mentoring. We need to do more coaching. And so when do we coach? This is a question that I get asked all the time. When do we coach? You know, I've got new people in my team, so I can't coach them. Or I've got other people who, you know, I'm just not sure, you know, what are the situations? What are the opportunities? And so let's talk about that, because I believe that there are so many missed opportunities in the workplace. We could be doing and using a coaching approach much more of the time than we are, and it's powerful. And so let's make more of that opportunity. Let's leverage it more. And again, this is about growing people. It's about growing leadership. So every opportunity that we have to do that, we should take it. So this is an adaptation of situational leadership from Blanchard. So we've got a skill axis with lots of skill and experience at the top end, not so much at the bottom end. Let me just slide my iPad down a little so you can see it. And then we've got the situation. What's actually going on at the moment? So at the left-hand end, we've got routine, everyday, business as usual type scenarios. And at the right-hand end, we've got the one-off, the unseen, the perhaps emergency situation, one-off. And I think we could probably classify the beginning of 2020 as more at the one-off end of that spectrum. So when can I coach? Okay. When can I coach? Well, I believe a lot of the time. So if I've got someone with a low level of skill, which might be because they're new to the workforce, it might be because they're new to the industry, new to our team, new to the portfolio. There could be lots of reasons. So they might have lots of other skills and experience, but they don't have everything they need for this particular role. So that would mean that we probably need to do some training so that we fill in the gap of knowledge. We need to do some mentoring to give them some guidance on how they actually go about, you know, their everyday. And once we've done that, we can coach them. You know, we can use those questions. So if they've done training and we know that they've done training, when they come to us and they say, have you got a minute? We can coach them through that. What did you learn that you could use in this situation? You know, the last time we talked about that, what were the suggestions I gave you? So we coach, yeah. So we do have a bit of a coaching opportunity down at this level. Even with our most inexperienced, least resourced folks, we can coach. But of course, as we go up the skill level, as we go up the experience level, those people don't want to be told what to do. They really want to be, well, they want to be supported, but they don't want to be told. And so that's one of our really great big coaching opportunities. Yeah. Oops, didn't quite work, did it? So a coaching opportunity where we've got routine situations, we can coach, you know, all the time. Ask them how they would tackle something. What do they need in order to be successful? You know, all those great open questions that we all know that we can use, but we really want people to be solving their own problems rather than us as the experts solving them for them. We want them to step up. We want them to take ownership. We want them to problem solve. We want them to come up with great ideas. And we can do that using a coaching approach. And equally with those experienced people, we do that even if the situation is unusual, because let's remember, they are the experts, not us. We're the leaders. So we coach them. What is their recommendation to deal with this situation, which is a brand new situation? What ideas can they come up with? Yeah. So our job is to facilitate that. It's about, really drawing out all of the goodness that they have in them, all those wonderful people around us, so that they can participate and contribute. And we can help them to do that by the way that we use a coaching approach as part of our leadership. Now, of course, if I just drop down, we've got those one-off situations. We've got people with less experience. This is not the time to coach. If they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience, and the situation is one they haven't seen before, it's a bit unfair to coach. So my suggestion is we mentor in the moment, help them get through that situation, and afterwards, that's when we coach. That's when we coach the learning. That's when we coach, how would you tackle this next time you see it, and that kind of thing. And so that's my suggestion there, that after the moment, we coach. So as you can see, we've got this massive coaching opportunity all around us in the workplace. And if I take that a step further, the range of coaching, most of you have probably seen the formal end of coaching, which we know as exec coaching often, where we have a program of work, we have an internal or an external practitioner that we meet regularly. There's a frame for that program, and exec coaching is fantastic and it's amazing, but it has a limitation. And the limitation is that only the select few get access to it. And so I'm a big fan of elevating, opening up the access, I guess the democratization of coaching, as Dr. Risa talked about. So in the moment, in the workplace, that's the big opportunity. In the middle of a conversation, when there's some below the line kind of approaches, or in the middle of a meeting when it completely goes off track, if we ask the right question at that time, we create opportunity. And we change the course of the conversation. So in the moment, all the spectrum, the opportunity for the application of coaching or a coaching approach in the workplace is, wonderful. So we've got everything from, have you got a minute? And I'm just going to scroll some of these down. Have you got a minute? We've got, one-on-one meetings. So instead of having those boring, let's review what happened last week kind of meetings, let's have meetings which are about creating the future. What are you going to focus on? What do you need in order to be able to do that? So coaching people to, to look forward, to own it, but actually to figure out how they're going to make things happen. We've got feedback. Feedback is a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a gift, it's information. But if we just drop feedback on people and leave it, we've missed the opportunity. If we share feedback and then we coach people to do something with that new information, then we've created opportunity. Other things, look, team meetings, what else have we got? Things like, I'm not going to write them all down, project meetings, coaching through conflict, coaching through change, obviously huge opportunity this year to engage people, to draw their contributions in, because we've needed people to contribute this year because we've got this sort of unprecedented set of circumstances. All the way through, I guess, to performance reviews, learning and development, projects. And I think the big thing for me is that also we have the opportunity to create systemic transformation and cultural change in organisations using a coaching approach. However, we need to put those coaching skills into our leaders' hands to enable them. So one of the big levers I believe that we need to pull at the moment is actually to equip as many leaders as we can with coaching skills. And if we do that and we create the opportunity to coach in the workplace, almost every conversation is an opportunity to coach, and we can leverage that opportunity if we equip our people. And I'm going to finish there because my time is up.
Thank you. Thank you, Stacey, once again for this wonderful, wonderful presentation. And it's so much of great learning about differentiating coaching and mentoring. Also, I've shared with everybody the giveaway, the takeaway that you're sharing with everyone, a 28-day self-coaching challenge, leadership performance boost. Thank you for sharing with all of us. So